4-H rockets away. Tonight, we're going to do some stuff around flight. So we will get started here. And if you weren't with us the last couple times, again, my name is Brian McNeil. I'm an extension educator. I work out of the Morris Regional Office, and I work with STEM programming, stuff like aerospace and rockets, do some stuff with robots and engineering design, some stuff with plant sciences. So a lot of kind of STEM related programming. And I'll turn over to Sam.
My name is Sam Jens. I'm the extension educator out of Lyon County, Minnesota. And I do a lot of STEM programming, although I will have to share with y'all, I'm really excited for the last couple sessions because I've never built an actual rocket before. So I'm excited to build right alongside you guys. Brian's going to teach those.
That's going to be fun. And then we've got our mystery guest, Suzanne, who hasn't been with us, but she's worked with us on this project. And hopefully next time she will be on with us. So that's the three of us you'll be seeing. And as in the last few times or our 4-H opportunities, we like to start with the flag pledges. So if you want to join with me, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And then, of course, we're going to jump right to the 4-H pledge. So I pledge my head to clear thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, my health to better living for my family, my club, my community, my country, and my world. And if any of you like a little trivia on our 4-H pledge, anyone want to guess, we're the only state in the United States that says one piece of this pledge. Anybody want to guess? It's the last sentence. We're the only state that's included this one phrase. Anybody want to guess? Throw it in the chat. You can unmute. A little 4-H trivia here for this evening. Any guesses?
Oh, we have under God. That's in the United States pledge. We're talking about the 4-H pledge.
That's the 4-H pledge. So we're the only state in the United States, Minnesota is unique this way, we've added for my family. So that's the only phrase that's different in Minnesota than if you go to other states. So if you ever go to another state and you say the 4-H pledge, they don't say for my family. We're the only state that does that. Just a little bit of trivia for those trivia people out there. Here's some reminders before we get started. So we want to keep yourselves muted until our speaker says to unmute yourself. Keep your cameras on. It's good to see what you're doing out there in Zoom land. If you have a question, use a little option to raise your hand, or you can physically raise your hand. I'll be watching the camera. So if you have a question or need us to stop or slow down, go ahead and raise your hand. If you want to, or if you can do this, you can put your name. You can change your name from Brian's iPhone or whatever device you're using to your name, so Sam and I can just see your names right at the bottom there. If you want to get creative, you can change your background and use the chat. So throw any questions or comments you have in the chat when you're prompted. So today, we're going to be making some rockets out of straws. And so out of your kits, you're going to find there should be two different sizes of straws. There's going to be one a little bit larger, one a little bit smaller. And Sam is showing those in his window, his little picture window there. So, yep, I see some other, yep, you're looking for the two straws. We're just looking for the straws right now. And then in your kit, there's a small little white, Sam's holding up there. It's the mailing labels. And so there should be 4 of them that you're going to be using this evening. So straws and mailing labels is what you're going to need out of your kits tonight. So with that, I am going to turn that over to Sam.
So we are going to make a rocket today. And with that, we need to learn a little bit about Sir Isaac Newton. And Newton's first law states that objects that are at rest tend to stay at rest, and objects that are in motion tend to stay at the same speed and the same direction. So that's also referred to as the law of inertia. And then Newton's second law is the greater the mass of an object, or the heavier it is, the more force it will take to accelerate an object. So I have a lot greater mass than a lot of you because I'm an older adult. So I take a lot more to accelerate myself when I'm running than what you guys do. And then the third law from Newton is for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So think about a rubber band. When you release that rubber band, it's going to go through and it's going to go the same length the other way. And that's what we use to help launch our paper airplanes on the first session. Go ahead and move on. So the activity that we have today is we are going to build a straw rocket. And so what I need you to do right now is grab the bigger straw between the two. So you'll have two straws, one's green and white striped and one is solid green. And you're going to need the solid green one. Nathaniel, there are 5 total sessions. So we have, after today, we have 2 more left. So once you have this straw, you are going to need 3 of the mailing labels. So can I see you guys kind of hold up the material so that way I know that that you have them?
We only have 2 mailing labels. And
You only have 2 mailing labels?
Yeah, and we're making 2 of these.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have 2 only also.
Still, if your parents maybe have some mailing labels, that could work. The other thing that can work is some paper and tape.
I was gonna say masking tape. If you had some masking tape, that would also work. So any type
So
of
if you have
tape,
some masking tape.
that's Scotch, or like the masking tape or painter's tape, that type of stuff would work as well. So if you're short the mailing labels, don't worry, that kind of masking tape or painter's tape would work too.
Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take one of our mailing labels and we are going to take it off the strip and put it on our finger, and we're going to attach one edge of it to our rocket like that. Then you're going to take the other edge and fold it over and tape it close to where the other end was attached to the straw, and then push it together so it kind of makes a flag. So it looks like I have a little white flag right now, so I'm surrendering to Brian. And then what we will do, because we're going to make 3 fins, so this is our first fin on our rocket, we're going to make 3 more fins, or 2 more fins, excuse me, with our rocket. So we need to decide where we're going to put those fins on a rocket. Do we want to have 2 directly across from each other and then 1 in the middle of them, or do we want to try to stagger them and keep them semi-even so we have 3 halves of a pie? What do you guys think? Should we have 3 halves of a pie, or should we just make 2 of them even? Tristan says semi-even.
I think they could also be creative, be a little engineer, and you may have yours like Sam has his a little flag, or you may turn it and angle it so it looks like a fin like this.
Ooh,
So you can
getting
experiment
creative.
a little bit. You could have them straight out, or you can actually angle it to look like rocket fins.
So I have 2 on now. Well, I'm going to take my 3rd one and stick on here. Suppose I should put this up so you guys can see it instead of holding it down below the table.
Sorry, how do you make the fins again? I got distracted by my little sister.
That's okay. So Nathaniel, you're going to take one of those mailing labels and you're going to peel it off of the paper that it came with. You're going to stick one edge onto the straw, and you're going to bring it over and fold it up against the other piece of the edge and then tape the other end on there. It looks like Brian has an extra piece to show you too.
I don't have any mailing
Like this? Is it like this? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good job.
Stop. I need to wash my hands.
So, and if we don't have enough mailing labels, you can take a piece of printer paper or tablet paper, something that's not your homework, because we don't want to rip up our homework, and cut yourself a little fin out, and you can use Scotch tape, masking tape, painter's tape to tape that fin on the bottom of a rocket, just like what we did here with these mailing labels. How are we all doing? Do we all need a little bit more time?
Do you think I am doing okay?
Yeah, I think that's looking good.
Okay, that's good.
It's looking good, Tristan. Riley, yours looks good. Klein, yours looks nice too.
Way to
Erica's
go,
looking
Erica.
good.
You've got yours on. Nicely done. Once you get all three of your fins on, once you hold up so Sam can see, we can make sure everybody's done. Thanks, Riley.
Okay. Thanks, Kenzie. So now we're ready to shoot off our rocket, right? We have everything we made to have a rocket. So I'm going to put my rocket on my straw. And do you think it's going to go off if I try to shoot it off right now? We're missing a really important piece, aren't we?
Excuse me,
piece?
are you supposed to do the strips on the smaller straw or the bigger one?
The bigger straw.
Okay, good. Because we thought we were mixed up.
No, because we're going to take the smaller straw and put it inside the bigger straw eventually. But I'm missing a very important piece of my rocket to make it fly yet. Do you guys know what I have to add yet?
The nose piece.
Yeah, thank you, Nathaniel. We have to add a nose cone. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take another or your last piece of mailing label. You're going to peel it off, and then you're going to bend it around to create a cone. You're going to turn it and make a cone. So it creates a cone kind of like this. But do we want it to be open at the top like mine currently is?
No.
Why not? Why should we make sure that the cone is completely sealed up on the top?
Because the air goes through.
Yeah, because the air will go through it and then my rocket won't shoot off, will it? Good job. So once we have our cone, and we want to check the top, now I don't have any place for the air to leak out on my cone. We're going to take our rocket and we're going to set our cone on top of it, and we're going to squeeze on it here so that way the mailing label adheres to the top of the rocket. Just like that. And if you don't have the mailing label, you can do the same thing with a piece of tape and tape the cone together and then put a piece of tape up under the inside of the nose cone and push the nose cone on top of the rocket to get that to seat.
Sam, would chewing gum work at the end?
It very well could.
What would happen?
Maybe you blow a big bubble at the end of your rocket.
It might be too heavy. It might be too much weight.
That too.
So if you have too much chewing gum and put at the end, it's going to have too much weight and the rocket's going to go bloop, like this.
So once we have that all done, we're going to grab our small straw and we're going to stick our big straw over top of our small straw. And we're going to want to hold it up a little bit so we have a couple inches at the end. So it'll slide down. We have a couple inches at the end of the small straw. And because what we're going to use is we're going to use manpower and that through our breath and blow on this to launch our rocket, or girl power too. So we'll just put it up to our lips and take a deep breath and blow. Mine hit my light. Anybody's hit their ceiling?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
We do not have another piece of the tape. We only
Okay.
have 3.
So you can take a piece of paper and turn it into a nose cone and then tape it together
Oh.
so it stays together. And put some tape up from underneath.
cone? How do you make a cone? Like you put it like this, and then you round it
You'll
up
take a
more.
piece like this and kind of turn it together to create a cone.
Who just did that to me? Hmm? She asked if
If that's really hard, you can also just take a piece of tape and tape right over the edge and just mush it up to make sure that no air gets out. So if you're having a problem with the nose cone, you can just tape the end and clamp it with your fingers so no air gets out of it.
Thanks, Brian. I was just going to share that too. Great minds think alike, or however that goes. Awesome. Briley says that hers goes through the air. Kenzie said that hers hit the ceiling.
It's a tape.
Mine acts like an arch. Like
Yours
an
acts
arc.
like an arch.
Yeah, it goes like this, and then it just goes back down.
So what do you think is making it do that, Nathaniel?
I have no idea. I did the nose a little different, but I completely sealed it.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that works that way too. So what on our rocket guides what direction
Hey,
the rocket will fly?
I'm taking
The fins.
Yeah, the fins. So how you have your fins set can determine if your rocket's going to fly straight or if it's going to fly at an arc. They're great questions. If you guys want to take this a little bit farther, you can find a target online somewhere and print that off, or draw your own target on a piece of paper and set it on the floor and try to launch your rocket to land inside that target zone.
Or a bucket. They could find a bucket, Sam, and try
That would
to
work,
launch
too.
it to the bucket ice cream pail.
Make sure the ice cream's all gone first, though.
Mine's perfect.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Same.
Oh, a ceiling fan got a little wind current going on at Nathaniel's place, which we'll talk about when we build the real rocket, because the day we're gonna mention to you all that we want to do like a flying day and actually fly the rockets. We're gonna have to make sure that there's certain wind patterns that we won't lose our rocket, because every so many feet there's different air currents. And so we'll talk about that when we build the real one here in about 2 weeks.
And does anybody remember how high a rocket can go that comes in your kit?
like really high that you lose sight of it when it goes straight up because we've tested different model rockets before.
Oh,
Yeah, this one will go between 800 and 1,000 feet, I think is what we saw in the package there. So this one will go probably out of sight a little bit.
Riley, it's
more-
gonna go. This you might be able to launch 30 feet.
Wait, is it going to be next week? We're going to build the gnome rocket, and then we're going to on the last week we're going to fly it.
Nope. We have another activity to learn about flight and rockets, and then the last session of Zoom, we're going to build the rocket, and then we will schedule a couple, if not one, a couple places where we can all meet up and launch rockets too. Because we have a bunch of motors and a couple launchers that we could launch the rockets with.
Good, because we have a fence around our house and barbed wire.
Okay.
So we would not want to lose our rocket during that.
So what are some ways that you guys and gals think that we could take this rocket and expand and take it further?
Can you show us the picture of what we're gonna do next time?
We
before
will
the-
here in a little bit. So a couple of you did this already. Yep, you could make it center of mass lighter. You could try adding more fins onto it. Maybe even a second set of fins up higher. You can do what Brian showed earlier and put the fins at an angle. There you go, Brian's showing that again. Or you could try just 2 fins. You could try 6 fins on it. More elevation could work too. Those are all great ways that you can do hypothesis and scientific discovery and do trial and error. Okay, Brian. You can go on to the next slide. Oh yeah, you could challenge your parents and see who can shoot theirs the farthest even. So how is this activity like flying a real rocket? You guys can type it in the chat or you can unmute too to share your example.
It's like when you're building a rocket, it's like you use your breath as energy. You use your breath as like the rocket boosters.
Okay. How else is this activity like flying a real rocket? Riley?
They have like real rockets have real motors in them and stuff. These are like rockets because they're pretty much the same. They have
So what were the parts of the rocket?
like this can't get any air. You don't want air through it.
Good job, Tristan. There's fins, the tip, and then the center of the mass or the body of the rocket. The shaft of the rocket. There's a few different names for that part of the rocket. Any other parts of the rocket? What would we call the small straw? So if we're going to think like a big rocket that goes up into space. What does it sit on before it takes off, or the rocket that we're going to use? Yeah, a launcher. Good job. So the small straw is our launcher, and so the launcher is really important because it also helps to direct which way that rocket's going to go. So if I have it pointed straight at my computer, odds are it's going to shoot straight off at the computer. If I have it perfectly straight up and down, it's going to go straight up and down. Brian's shooting his rocket at his computer. And then do you guys and gals remember Newton's laws? Do you remember what Newton's laws were that we covered? Do you guys remember how many laws there were? Oh, Brian just cheated now. He brought us back to the slide. Yeah, so there's 3 laws. Good job. So the first law states that an object at rest tends to stay at rest, and an object in motion tends to stay in motion, and that at the same speed and direction. The second law says the greater the mass of an object, the more force that it will take to accelerate an object. Remember, I gave the example of me running versus you running. And then the third law is for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So what was the reaction with launching our rocket? We did something and the rocket reacted to it. Anybody? So for Newton's third law, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So we put our rocket on our launching straw and we blow air through it, and the reaction is the rocket lifts off. Okay. So next time we will be learning about what makes rockets fly, and Brian is going to be leading that one. So if you want to share or give any hints about what we're going to be doing next time, Brian, now's the time.
Now's the time. So next time, again, in your kits, there should be a film canister. So make sure you get a film canister, take the film canister out of your kit. And something you have to purchase, and we'll have Sam put this in the reminder email, is an Alka-Seltzer tablet. So you'll need to get some Alka-Seltzer tablets. Tell your parents that over the weekend, next week, we need to get some Alka-Seltzer because we're going to use that in this experiment with the film canisters. That's all I'm going to tell you. We're going to need 3 things: film canister, Alka-Seltzer tablet, and water. The rest we'll experiment next time.
Thank you guys for coming and spending some more time with us. Don't forget to send us pictures and our video of you guys experiencing